Welcome back, you lovely people, to another video. We're here at the Temple of Speed in the Ferrari Challenge Series. So grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy some close racing. So we're qualifying P7 for this one. Straight to field was just about 2.1k. About to go green here, hoping that we don't have any incidents into turn number one. Hope we don't lose out any places as well. Checking if there's a car on my left. As you can see in the VR view on top, that we do not have a car on our left. So we're going to brake a little early. Concentrate on my mirror, can see this red car come up behind us, and then I realise I'm not braking enough, and I just about touched the back of that black car. Luckily for me, no damage. Very, very gentle touch. No incident points for it. We get through turn number one. That was pretty much the only thing that I could see around my car, but nobody else in the mirrors or anyone in front spun out. No major incidents, no accidents. I go defensive coming into the second chicane here, worried about the red car behind. He brakes a little earlier than I do, allowing me to come up to the back of this kind of multicolored blue and multicolored car, but he does get a better exit, so he pulls out the gap again a little bit. Just trying to settle into this race, worried about sliding out on cold tires, so just feeling how the car is going, just understeering here a little bit. As you can see, the tires weren't up to temperature, everything on the dashboard is blue, so just worried about that. Checking my relative here, as you can see with the VR view, that I was just checking to see where everyone was in relation to where I am on the track and what kind of gaps are around me. Coming into Ascari here, I do clip the curb a little bit, or the sausage kind of curbs on the inside. That does upset the car a little bit, so I can't go full throttle going through there. I wouldn't want to do it anyway with the cold tires at this point in the race, but if you're looking at the external view in the bottom left corner, we're all kind of just a big train coming down this back straight coming up to Parabolica. Monza's a track that I don't necessarily feel too confident at. It's one of those tracks where I feel like I can compete, but definitely not fast. It's kind of like Spa. Those two tracks, for whatever reason, I just can't nail a fast lap time. As we do a 151.8 on the opening lap, which is not unusual considering we had cold tires. Starting lap number 2, coming down to turn number 1. We're going to keep an eye on our mirrors. We're braking. Kind of felt like I braked a little early there, but it was clean, it was safe. Understeer a little bit on the exit, but we can get the power down nice and quickly as we straighten the car up. Trying to keep on the back of the group in front of us, but also worrying about this silver car behind. He got past the red car behind him pretty early on that first lap, so he's going to be quick, and he seemed a little quick on these opening laps, and he seemed a bit feisty and wasn't afraid to put a move up the inside, so just keeping an eye on him a little bit as well. He's right on the back of us. We're coming up to the Lesmos. Still feeling the car out on the second lap, a little bit of adjustment there coming through. That kind of upset the car, made me run a little wide there. Coming into Lesmo number 2, we're going to do something similar, clip the curb a little bit, and forces us to run a little wide onto the gravel and pick up a 1x. Checking my relative, worried about the cars behind more than the cars in front, so I'm driving with my mirrors a little bit here in the race and worried a little bit about the silver cars. Coming up to Ascari, I brake at my usual braking point. It seems to be very early in comparison to his braking point with the silver car behind, so he was able to come up. That kind of caught him off guard, I think, a little bit, which thus sent him into the kind of evasive maneuver, and that kind of compromised his line through Ascari, giving me a little bit of breathing room. Not my intention, that was just where I was braking for that corner. He must have been feeling much more confident on the brakes. He tried to get a bit of a better run out of Parabolica here, forces him a little wide. He's going to have the slipstream. I'm going a little defensive, but I'm at this stage in the race, because I'm losing to the cars in front, I'm thinking, look, if he sends one up the inside, I'm not going to fight him too much. We're just I'm going to minimize my time loss if he does send one up, and he does send it up the inside. Brakes pretty much bang on for that corner, maybe a little bit late, but I can't capitalize on that. He's covered off the exit pretty well, and now I'm just going to settle in behind him on the lap number 3, trying to see if we can use his speed and the draft off of him to pull ourselves up to Joshua up. It is a loss of 1 place off the start. I'm trying to push him up, kind of go think in his mirrors, making him think that I'm going to do a move, but really I'm not. Best time to get past someone's when they've gone past you, and that's kind of like as they're still a bit vulnerable and not necessarily concentrating too much or a bit off their game. Didn't work out on this incident, on this time, but it might work later against somebody else. I'm kind of in a sandwich here between the silver car and the red car, so I'm kind of watching what's in front of me, but also watching behind. And right now I'm kind of hoping that Nathan in front just gets a move on and he doesn't hold us up. He is going a little defensive comp to Ascari. I'm thinking about a move here, but I'm also just, I break a little early and like, okay, let's just catch the guys in front and not worry about the guys behind, because they're getting a little bit too close. And I don't want to be worrying about the cars behind, and let's see if we can just get a move on. I'm still right behind Nathan. I'm not really interested in performing a move up the inside into Parabolica. I'm just concentrating more on the long game. It is only lap 3, or at least the end of lap 3, and I want to see if we can get a better result. Somebody could have an incident up in front. Somebody could be being held up when they start fighting. If we don't fight, we can catch up to them. So trying to play the long game, trying to play the strategy. You'll see here in the external view, I do start flashing him here with my headlights, kind of indicating as I pull out from him, I'm not, just go, don't worry about the move. I don't know if he understood that, but my intent there with the flashing and pulling out from behind the slipstream was to kind of like, just go. I want you to catch up to the cars in front and drag me along with you. Again, Monza's one of those tracks that I never necessarily feel very quick on. We did it at 150.6 in the last lap, which wasn't quick. I think it was also because we were fighting with the silver car, but it's not necessarily a track that I feel very confident in. But it's a track I enjoy, so that's why I drive it every so often. Even though it has apparently a bit of a bad rap, Monza Turn 1. I've seen one or two incidents like the Monza Turn 1 kind of meme incidents where like people just come flying in, but generally speaking, I've seen very clean racing here. The Monza combined version on iRacing sometimes can be a bit crazy, where people just go 3 wide down that kind of main straight and they touch and they all crash out, and that happens a lot. But yeah, in this kind of just general Grand Prix layout, I don't see too much craziness, and the Turn 1 incidents I don't really see too often. I've raced here a few times now, and I quite enjoy it. I think it's pretty not crazy. It's not like you're not getting dive bombed like crazy. As long as you're aware and you're watching your mirrors coming into Turn 1, you're aware of kind of like how wide your car is, it's generally not too bad. I've also seen recently people, I'm not going to name names, but other people complaining a lot recently about the Ferrari Challenge Series in general. And I've seen videos online with people just getting absolutely smashed out of it and destroyed in a race, and that's not been my experience. I don't know why. My experience, I did a whole series on my channel where I just did 8 weeks of nothing but the Ferrari Challenge pretty much in iRacing on, it was 2025 season 1, and yeah, I was still learning the ropes of iRacing and still building up my iRating and still getting used to online racing and sim racing in general, and getting used to how the Ferrari kind of like took corners and how to drive it basically. And I didn't see it being that crazy. There's a couple of moves which you get down almost any series, but yeah, it seems to have a bit of a bad rap, but I quite enjoy it, and I've had plenty of clean races in this series, and I tend to be on the kind of pointier half of the grid, even on these slightly higher splits, so maybe that contributes to it, or maybe it's just my luck that the people I race against, because I'm in North America, and some people in Europe might just have people who just are idiots and send one up the inside and cause accident. But yeah, I felt like the Ferrari Challenge Series is pretty clean and you can get some fun races in it, and if anyone is like thinking no, definitely stay away from that series that has a bad rap, I implore you to just give it a go. Have a bit of a go on the Ferrari Challenge, see how you get on. As I say that, there is 2 cars that spin out and have an accident, and I have to go defensive with the car behind now, as we had a bad run out of Ascari. Coming into Parabolica, I am going to brake. Initially, on that first bite, he braked a little earlier than I did, but then, or a little later than I did, but then he kind of comes back and he goes for that kind of undercut, which sets him up beautifully for turn number 1. We did gain 2 positions there from the accident. We're about to lose a position here coming down the main straight. I'm watching him, just keeping an eye on him. You can see I'm wondering where he is on the track, if he's squeezing us. He is starting to squeeze us a little. I'm just watching. Brake apparently way later than he did, but as you can see, I made the corner and it wasn't even a struggle, so he braked really early, even though he had the inside line, and that was just unusual. So we keep the place for now.
Come on, Daniel.
We're about 6th position right now, lap number 6. Right now doing about 1 minute 50 seconds lap times, which is slow for me. I've done much quicker, but my race pace right now is not really clicking for whatever reason. Coming into the second chicane here, clipping the curb, trying to get a good run up to the Lesmos. Concentrating a little bit on the mirrors, but also just making sure that there's a couple of areas like coming into the Lesmos that as long as you're not too off the pace, it's a difficult overtake. It's only when you really make a big mistake coming out of that second hairpin that you're vulnerable into the Lesmos, as coming out of the Lesmo 2 there, get a little bit of oversteer, but there's a little bit of a gap again. The slipstream's going to bring him up again, coming down to Parabolica out of Ascari, so he's going to be on our ass coming up to Ascari. So I've got to, sorry, not Ascari, Parabolica. So I've got to be a little bit, aware in my mirrors of what is going to be happening with him. He's still pretty close. We are still close to the cars in front, so anything can happen. We're still trying to keep up with them, so to speak. They're not necessarily fighting. There wasn't a lot of fighting going on. It just seemed like everyone was just within that second or so, and they formed little groups, and everyone seemed to be within a second or so, but not enough to really fight. And everyone's kind of trying to play the long game, it seems. So my plan of trying to play the long game was not really working. Leader just did a 148.9, so we did a 149.5, so we're about 0.6 of a second or so off the pace. And it's okay. I mean, we're down in kind of 6th, 7th region for a reason. We're not fast enough to be up the front, and we had a couple of times where we were held up, but yeah, I was pleased with this race so far. It's pretty clean. I gained a couple of positions just because people made mistakes. I lost a position just because I didn't want to fight it and I didn't want to lose more than one position. Watching my mirrors here coming up to the second chicane, he thinks about a little bit of a move, but goes back on the racing line. I'm braking. You hear the understeer here, trying to clip that curb, get a good run. Have to correct the car a little bit. He did gain in there, but not enough to be able to send one up the inside into Lesmo 1 and 2. But right now,
good job, Daniel.
On lap number 7, almost run a little too wide there in Lesmo 1, come up to Lesmo number 2. Clip the curb on the inside, just trying to get the power down as early as I can and watch my mirrors. But yeah, I was pretty happy with how things were going in this race so far. Only one incident point, just kind of in 6th position, not worried too much about having accidents, or I was driving okay. I wasn't driving particularly too fast, but I was definitely being reasonably consistent on my braking points, and the car felt okay as we gained a little bit of time through Ascari with the car behind. So still in 6th, trying to gain as much time as I can to Nathan up in front, but he's got draft and he's got a nice group in front of him, so he's almost got a double draft, so it's really difficult to catch up to him right now, and my pace just doesn't seem to be there. But coming up to start lap number 8, I'm hoping that Nathan up in front can get a good draft into turn number 1, start fighting with Zhao and Joshua, and possibly see if that will hold them up. We'll do another 149.5 second lap. Definitely not fast, but it was okay. I'm not too disappointed with those lap times. Cars up in front are battling into turn number 1. We are going to start catching them a little bit here. Lap number 8 has begun. We can see they're fighting. It's going to get closer and closer towards the end of the race. They're going to fight more and more, so we're going to see if we can capitalize on their mistakes, their fighting and aggression amongst themselves and battling, and see if that will hold them up. They're racing pretty clean, pretty fairly right now, and they aren't holding each other up too much as they go side by side into the second chicane, allowing us to get a bit of a gap, closing the gap a little bit. They have fallen back a little bit from the blue car from Joshua, so that's allowing kind of, you can see the difference there, because they went through side by side. The gap opened up between these two cars in front and Joshua and the blue car, and you can also see the gap has closed between us and those two cars. So coming up towards the end of this race, we are hoping that they can fight amongst themselves and that we can start capitalizing on that, gain time up to them, and see if we can get in the mix a little bit. Coming into Ascari here, they go kind of side by side. We're gaining time, getting a little closer, coming onto this kind of back straight section of the track. We are pretty close now. We might be starting to get slipstream, and as you can see, we're under that 1 second mark. We're starting to get slipstream. Coming up to Parabolica, hoping to get a nice run through here and see if we can start using the slipstream down at turn number 1. Car is a little bit loose here. I had to do a minor correction. It wasn't too bad. Coming up now, we're about to start the last lap where we take the white flag. Anything can happen. I'm hoping that Zhao in front can possibly send one up the inside of Nathan into turn number 1, and that would potentially allow us to catch up right onto the back. He has a look, you can see here, but I think he thought better of it, and we do catch up a little bit. And you can see we're right on the back of these two guys. Don't get the greatest exit out of turn number 1, but we're right in the mix right now, and I'm hoping that something happens on this lap. They are starting to split out amongst themselves. There's a gap forming between Zhao and Nathan, so it's looking unlikely that something's going to happen. I'm hard on the brakes here. Just about get it stopped, just about get it turned. Nathan runs wide, he's on the gravel, but it doesn't hold him up too much. Coming into Lesmo number 2, Zhao in front of the black car, he goes a little wide on entry. Just these little mistakes started creeping in. I was starting to get a little hopeful that something might happen. Maybe into Ascari, one of them clips a sausage curb and either just loses control or just gets compromised on the exit, allowing me to get a good slipstream down the back straight up to Parabolica. So we're hoping for something to happen into this kind of section here in Ascari. Braking at our usual braking point, turning in, letting the car slide a little bit on exit, getting the power down as early and as quickly as I dare. We have a possibility here if the slipstream is kind to us, if it allows us to gain time up to Zhao. But it looked like he got possibly a better run than we did. We kind of trying to move around behind him in his mirrors to put him off his braking marker into Parabolica, but he does nail it, and it is going to be a 6th position. We just about catch a little bit of a slide on exit, and that just meant that it was race over here as we crossed the line in 6th position. So we gained a position from where we qualified. I'll take that any day of the week. Wasn't quite a top 5, but I was happy with the result. Not quite so happy with the lap times, but I was happy with the result. And as you can see, we're going to cut to the results in a moment, and we're going to see how that affected all our ratings and safety ratings. So to the results, we go double green. Only 2 incident points in this race, so I was a little bit disappointed that it was only 0.04 increase to our safety rating. Didn't have any incidents on qualifying, so I'm not sure why that was the case. We also increase our I rating. We're now 2.35k, so we're a step closer to the goal of 2.5k. Very pleased with that result overall. Lap times could improve, but very pleased overall. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. Leave a comment down below with any tips, any comments. You know, if you're enjoying this video, love to hear from you. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Got plenty of videos that you can check out, and I hope to see you in the next one.